today I have an unboxing and a review of this Mastercraft Clamp Meter, and it also happens to have a non-contact voltage detector. Now, for those of you who are from Canada, the Mastercraft brand is very well known. This is sold. This is the house brand for Canadian Tire, which is a staple for us Canadians. I picked this clamp meter up because it was in a bin with a lot of the same ones, but in that bin, these were selling for $20, and I was figuring, how can you go wrong with a clamp meter for $20? The non-contact voltage detector, I mean, that's just gravy. Although I've got 2 or 3 of those already anyways. But $20 for a clamp meter sounded pretty decent. And on top of that, it's got a case and probes and stuff like that. So yeah, so I picked that up. And I don't have a higher end clamp meter at this point, but I was planning to get sort of a better known clamp meter, but I thought, what the heck? It seems to have all of the features. I've been looking for clamp meters for a while. So here it is. Let's put it through a few paces, maybe not all of them, but let's see what we can do with this clamp meter. Now, because it comes in this wonderful plastic packaging, I've already cut the edges off to make my life a little easier. So this is, this just, I can lift it up without too much trouble. Non-contact voltage detector. Now, blue is the Canadian Tire kind of Mastercraft signature color. So that's why everything is blue, but I like blue, so that's cool. So we've got the clamp meter and the non-contact voltage detector, and nothing in that card. There's a case here, which is kind of handy, and inside the case there's a pair of batteries, a set of probes, and these, we'll talk about these a little more in a second. And there's instructions for the clamp meter, the voltage detector, and of course, let's remember this is Canada, so we have instructions in French as well. So French instructions and English instructions. Put all those to the side, and another set of batteries. So there's batteries for the voltage, the clamp meter, and for the non-contact voltage detector. So all of that comes in the package, which is for $20 or $19.99 as it may be. That seemed like a great deal. So let's have a look. Now, the clamp meter, I have already put the batteries in. Now, since this is sold in Canada, it's got the Intertech certification at the bottom here, CE mark. So this takes, I'm pretty sure, I already put the batteries in here. I'm pretty sure this takes the 3 AA's. I'll just double check. And yeah, so I put some Costco Kirkland batteries in there. Now, one of the things I'll point out, which is a good thing, and at this price, you can see that the screw that holds the battery cover in has a metal reinforcement, and you've got a metal screw going into that. And that's nice, because I mean, you're going to be into this battery compartment dozens of times over its working life. And I was reviewing a digital multimeter the other day, and it has a plastic screw and no collar. And I thought, well, that's not very clever for something that you're going to be getting into and getting out of all the time. So I was a little disappointed with that. So anyways, so it's got a good, and then once you get the batteries in here, it has a decent heft to it. Opens up. Now, the probes, let's unwind them here. So these probes, they're not hugely long, but you know, you don't need a huge distance on probes for a clamp meter, I don't think. And there's of course the handy notch here. I don't know what you want to call it, but you can use that to put one of the probes in to kind of help you out, so that you can work on this with two hands, and you don't need to find that third hand, undergo any sort of genetic manipulation. One of the things I'll notice, or one of the things to notice here, is that these probes have a shroud that just leaves a little bit exposed at the tip. So that's a safety concern. These come off. They're a little tough to get off, but for what you're probably going to be doing where you're working on mains current or mains voltage, I should say, that's probably a good idea. And the probes are also, well, they're rated for 10 amps. So all in all, I mean, where can you get something like that for 20 bucks? The regular price was rated at $70, 75, something like that. So this was a really awesome deal. Now, if you're a Canadian Tire regular, you know that almost all of their tools cycle through typically a sale process, and you can get almost any regular Canadian Tire Mastercraft item for 50% off if you're willing to wait long enough. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to try this thing out, and of course the main thing we're going to want to do with the clamp meter is do some current tests. And so to do the current tests, we've also got a line splitter, because if you don't have a line splitter of some sort, either a device like this, or you're going to break apart the lines in a wire, you can't measure current in an AC with all the wires together. That's not how it works. So having some sort of a line splitter like this, there's a few different other brands. This I got this one off of Amazon. Believe it or not, the line splitter cost me more than the clamp meter. But I got this off of Amazon. And one of the things that's nice about this, about half the line splitters that you'll see have this feature, half of them don't, which is there's a regular section. So, you know, this basically will give you the regular current reading. But if you're in a low current situation, in this section, they've got the wire wrapped around this section 10 times. So you get a 10 times reading on the current if you clamp into this section. Okay, so I'm gonna set us up here for a little bit of testing, and we'll see what we can do with the clamp meter here. I'm probably gonna need some kind of current draw. Okay, back in a minute. All right, so I've got an extension cord coming from the wall socket. It's feeding into the splitter here. Then I've got this basically bulb hookup gizmo here. And so this is a contraband now, 60 watt incandescent bulb. Turn the switch, turns on. That's a good sign. So that's a 60 watt bulb. at 120 volts. So doing our math, power is equal to current times voltage, or another way to look at it is that current is equal to power divided by voltage. So if we've got a 60 watt bulb and 120 volts, that means if we measure this, it should be half an amp or 500 milliamps. So I've set the clamp meter to the 2 amp range. You can see it's got a 2 amp, a 20 amp, and a 400 amp range. And so I've set it to the 2 amp range, AC alternating. And what I'm going to do in order to not leave the incandescent bulb on for too long, because it will get super hot, I'm going to stick this clamp meter there. You can see the readout there. And of course, it'd be great to have 3 hands at this point, but we don't. So hopefully you can see that. I'm going to turn this on. And you can tell it's on. And we're getting pretty close to what we'd expect, which is half an amp. And well, it's probably, we might be a little higher on the voltage at the exact present time. We'll check out the voltage in a second. I'll turn off the lamp. But the thing to note is that that's pretty much 60 watts with 120 volts dead on. So that is super accurate for something that cost me all of 20 bucks, I've got to say. And we'll turn that off. It goes back down to 0. So, you know, I have to say that I was not expecting the greatest, for $20, the greatest deal here. But this is pretty good. In fact, it's pretty amazing for $20. It's a, you know, and it's a very nice form factor. I'm just going to take it off of this. But it's a really, really nice form factor in here. I've got to say, it's the size is really nice. The probes, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the probes. Okay, I've replaced the 60 watt incandescent with an LED. This is supposed to be 100 watt equivalent in terms of lumens. And so this is supposed to, well, we'll see what happens. So we'll turn this on. So that's running now. Now that was not going to get too crazy hot. It's an LED. We'll turn this on to the 2 amp range. And we'll get the clamp here. And we hook that up. We've got 0.11, 0.12. We'll go with 0.12 amps. So 0.12 amps. Let's figure out what that means in terms of wattage. So 0.12 power is equal to current times voltage. So 120 times 0.12 is 14.4 watts. The packaging for this claims it's 14 watts. So all in all, that seems pretty accurate. We might want to just get a little voltage reading to see what my voltage is right now. Let's turn this off, turn this to the voltage range. So AC voltage, there's currently there's a good set of test points here. Let's see what we get. This voltage. So we're getting 122 volts. So that 123 volts. So that probably accounts for the little bit of variance that we're getting in the exact values. Let's try out a couple of the other features on this clamp meter, the kinds of things that you probably do most often with something like this continuity. I'm sure this is going to work. It's trivial. So that works. It's a little screechy. Now what I like to do for continuity is tap these together and see how we do. So it's pretty sensitive to continuity. I often find that in continuity, sometimes with a lot of the multimeters, they kind of don't quite detect every touch if the touch is too quick. But I'm getting everything with some kind of a sound there, so that's pretty good. And resistance. Let me see if I've got a resistor lying around here somewhere on the bench. Give me a second. All right, so I've hooked up a 100 ohm resistor with a bunch of alligator clips and stuff so that I could hold the meter in the frame. And so this is reading as 0.103 kilo ohms. So for the accuracy, that's fine, given how accurate the resistor probably is. But the thing to notice is that it's reading it as kilo ohms. So let's, I'm gonna switch this over. I have a 10 ohm resistor. Just gonna quickly switch that over. Ten ohm resistor is reading at 0.012 kilo ohms, so it's I don't think this does any ranging or very much. We'll see. I'll get something, maybe something with a little higher resistance. So now I've hooked up a 220 kilo ohm resistor, and that's over range, so it's just basically showing me over range. So you can see I can't get 220 k ohm to pick up. And here we are now with a 1 kilo ohm resistor, so that's reading about 1.010 kilo ohms. I mean, and in fairness, the specs on the multimeter do say that the range, it goes up to 2 kilo ohms. So you know, this is probably fine for the kinds of things that you're going to do where you're looking at sort of let's say power electronics. Probably not the kinds of thing. Clamp meter isn't really the kind of thing you'd be using for let's say you know, digital electronics or you know, small scale lower voltage DC electronics. So the ohm range topping out at 2k ohms is probably not such a big deal. It's probably not the kind of thing that you're generally gonna be using. You're probably going to be dealing with lower resistances in the kind of application where you'd be using a clamp meter like this. And so there you have it. All in all, it doesn't do everything under the sun, but what it does do, it seems to do pretty well and pretty accurately. So I have to say that this is going to become my toolbox's new best friend, because this will do just about anything that I would need to do when I'm out there troubleshooting somebody's electrical system, like their lights or anything like that. This will do it. So this was a great buy. You probably heard me say it about 20 times on this video, but this was a great buy for $20. Okay, well, if you like this video, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to keep me going. Thanks very much.